Alright, we have to have a big talk. We have a big issue going on. The Charizard EX SIR from Obsidian Flames is no longer a pricey card. This card was a big card. This set, Obsidian Flames, let's talk about it. Obsidian Flames. What could there be possibly to talk about for Obsidian Flames? Now, let's talk about Obsidian Flames, because Obsidian Flames didn't fail due to hype. Hype was not the issue. If anything, it was probably one of the biggest hyped up sets we've ever had since Celebration set. This set, everyone was talking about when it got leaked out in Japan during its release for Japan. We loved seeing the card. Now, one particular card stuck out to Japan people and to English when it got leaked was the Charizard EX SIR. Now, this Charizard had a lot of potential of being one of the biggest Charizards we have ever seen. Now, of course, it wasn't going to be bigger than the Giratina V alternate art, the Lugia V alternate art, or even the Blaziken / Umbreon V Max alternate art, and the Latios and Latios GX alternate art from GX era. But it had potential to be one of those following, beating it, actually. It had potential of beating one of those. Not all, but one of those. Or if it didn't beat them, at least it would be its own type of unique card with a good value to it that you could actually pay your rent off of it. But that was not the chance. This card took a big downfall at the beginning. Now, we all know pre-release dates and pre-release prices always go down when they release. Pre-releases of this Charizard went for about $300 to $250 on TCG Player. When it came on exactly the same day, it went below $100. Right there is like a negative 100, or like at least almost a negative 100 decrease percent. Like, it almost went down by negative 100%. This was probably one of the biggest disappointments we've ever had. And as me, who I never collected collect Charizards for value reasons, this card I actually thought maybe I would start collecting Charizards for value. This card really disappointed me in value and designs. The design was so overly done that you couldn't even see much out of it, and for an SIR, the design was so crappy. When you compare it to the Iron Hands, the Clive, the Iono, there's so much more detail into those cards. It's not just based on the character, it's literally based on its environment and other parts of its life. But no, this Charizard was in a white background with black shards all over the place. A lot of the other Charizards have unique designs to it. Now, of course, the Paldean Fates, I actually have to say I like, not just for value, but for design. It has something, it just has different colors to it. It's not all just black and white to it. But this Charizard was. So let's talk about the decrease and how bad it is. So, I mean, the set has something good going for it. It had a unique design to it and much more. There were different cards that were also SIRs in here, which would be the Revavroom EX SIR, the Poppy SIR, the Pidgeot EX SIR, the Charizard, of course, and I think that's all the SIRs part of that set. But the set wasn't just the SIRs that was good, it was basically all of the good cards for it. I mean, there were beautiful illustration rares, beautiful EXs, beautiful gold cards, and there was one particular gold card that everybody wanted to get, and that was the Charizard EX gold card. Now, there are different variants of the Charizard EX. There's the Charizard EX, the normal Terra one, the Charizard EX, that's the ultra rare, the Charizard EX special illustration rare, and the rarest one, the Charizard EX gold one. Now, of course, the gold is not as rare as what the SIR was, but again, they had potential, both the gold and, not the ultra rare, but the SIR had potential of being $100 to $200 more than what it came out to be. I mean, yes, it was $100. It had potential maybe of going above 300. Now, I said I don't think it should have reached that, but that doesn't mean it could have not had reached that. It could have reached that at some point. But it looks like we're not going to see that anytime soon. Here's why. One of the first reasons why the Charizard EX SIR is not going to go up in value is mainly because there are better releases out there. And I'm going to show you the actual better releases. We have here the Iron Hands EX, a beautiful illustration, special illustration rare that has a better design going for it and has a bright future. You've got other cards such as the Miraidon that a lot of people still love and still has a value going for it that has yet to go down a significant rate. You still got, Miraidon, Belisipod, Mew EX from the Ultra Premium Collection, Clive SIR, finally, the Iono. Now, why I put those in is because they have a better value. Well, I wouldn't say they're not exactly higher than the Charizard, except for the Iono. But they do have good values going for them. They haven't actually went down as much as the Charizard went down. The Charizard went down at like a 96, 95% decrease down in value. Right now it's sitting around 52 and it was at 51. But don't expect it to go above any more than 60. We're going to get into two more things before we end the video. Just so you know, the cards, they may not be as expensive as the Charizard. The Charizard still may be one of the expensive ones from Obsidian Flames, and most of all the other SIRs still are not as expensive as this one. But they have not went down like the Charizard did. I mean, the value in the Charizard kind of went down a lot after its release. The same day of its release, it went down too. A couple days later, it went down even more. So it just says that the Charizard EX SIR is not going to have a really bright future. Alright, so we can already see here, like the Pidgeot EX SIR. You can see right here it's going for about $10.56. If you go down here to about a year ago, this was actually, this was literally a couple weeks before its actual release on July 24th of July 30th. You can see it was at 24, sitting around that highest it's ever been. And it kind of went down here to 16, back up to 17, went down to 14, then went up to 14, 12, 11, and it just kept going down. The lowest was $7. And then it went back up. Now it's at $10.56. So for SIRs, you're not going to see much value. Oh, there was one more SIR. Oops, I forgot to include the SQ, which, again, was one of the biggest disappointing cards ever of Obsidian Flames, for sure, for SIRs. The highest it ever was actually just $12. It went down to $6, and it just keeps going down. So that's SQ's another one you shouldn't invest in. I still have that SIR. This is probably the lowest SIR price ever. This was actually at $24, and you can just see that's a big decrease to $5, and it just kept going back down. It's only $1.93 last time. So the Gita, oh my gosh, that's right. I've now forgot two SIRs. This one was actually pretty pricey, around $37, almost $40. You can see it just keeps going down. So now it went down to $2. So, I mean, those you can easily just buy them at freaking Dollar General if they were even there. If they actually sold Pokemon, I bet these would be there, except for this. This is what I mean, right here. It's $225. That's a 24% price drop. You don't see that, but I don't know. But now it's like $52. So, I mean, it's still sitting at a reasonable amount. I mean, all of these cards are SIRs. So if you want to collect your SIRs, buy them now. I mean, you never know. They may not go up. So buying them now would be a reasonable idea. That was $19.22. Then it went back down to $2. So I mean, that's not that cool. Alright, our final part here would be for our Obsidian Flames illustration rares this time. So there are a few illustration rares. We have the Ninetales going for $6.39. The Palafin going for $1.68. The Pidgey, one of my favorite illustration rares of all time, including, Obsidian Flames. It's going for about $4.10. I think a year ago, it's going for about $11. So that was going for about $11 a year ago when it came out. This was going for about $7. So $7, that was going for the Ninetales. I'm pretty sure it was, $22. So I'm not sure it was the Cluffa. I know this one is one of the biggest hyped cards. I have no idea why. This card doesn't deserve all the hype, in my opinion. $12, a lot of people say it's a beautiful artwork. I see nothing in that card at all. $5. So a lot of these cards didn't even hit a reasonable amount to actually go down a significant rate, because none of these are even expensive. That was $7. You can already tell they weren't even a lot a year ago when they came out. The Varoom, $5. Maybe a little bit above 5, but still nothing to be like, oh wow about. So that was almost 10, which is reasonable. Scissors is my favorite artwork of that set. The Lechonk. This one should be $5. There's other ones too. There's the Larvitar eating crap, which is basically what he's eating. $7. The Houndour, one of my favorite illustration rares. $7. So I mean, and the Bellapot, however you pronounce the name. $2.60. Alright, so welcome back. So our final part of today's video is this or that. I'm going to choose which card I like better. So the Pidgeot EX versus the Alakazam, of course, is going to be an obvious answer. The Alakazam is way better. Better design, better set to invest in than what Obsidian Flames is. Obsidian Flames is probably the worst set of Scarlet and Violet. It didn't have to be, but it is. The Revavroom or the Crydon, I hate Crydon, but I'm still going to have to choose Crydon over the Pidgeot. It's a good card. It's just for value reasons. It's just not. Charizard or Mariam, of course, is going to be Mariam. Charizard design is absolutely trash. I hate that design, so I'm going to go for Mariam because it has more colorfulness in it and it has a better design where you can focus on the actual character itself. Poppy or Giovanni's Charisma, it's going to be Giovanni's Charisma. I'm sorry. I mean, Poppy's a good one, but I got to go for Giovanni's Charisma. No doubt about that. Giovanni's Charisma. Ninetales of the Groudon. I'm going to have to go for the Ninetales because that design is just magnificent. It's its own design, and I've got to love that they did that for it. The Pidgey or the Loudred, 100%. Clive versus Pidgeot. Clive, of course. Charizard versus Pidgeot. Pidgeot for far Pidgeot for sure. I love Pidgeot a lot, so I'm going to have to choose Pidgeot EX for sure. Final results and review time. So let's get into this. This is the final part of today's video. We're going to see right here, everybody, what I think about these cards. Alright, Charizard. EXSIR is a 5 out of 10. Nothing good about this card. That's the honest truth. There's nothing good about having a Charizard that's only like $52. Pidgeot EX is going to be our perfect 10 out of 10 card that I would recommend investing in. The Poppy is a 1 out of 10. Good design, but bad value. Revavroom, bad design, bad value, so it gets a 0 out of 10. Therefore, this card is going to get the one and only, for sure. Final grade is a F-.